I still remember that morning. January 15th, 1947. A quiet street in Los Angeles. The war had ended a couple years before. People were chasing dreams, chasing money, chasing Hollywood. But that morning, everything stopped. I was walking with my little girl. The sun wasn't too hot, yet the air was calm. Then I saw it. At first, I thought it was a mannequin tossed in the grass. Pale, cut in half, lying there like a broken doll. But when I looked closer, I knew it was real. It was a woman, dead. Her body sliced clean in two, drained of blood, her face carved into a horrible smile. That image has never left me. That was the day the Black Dahlia story began. Her name was Elizabeth Short. She was just 22. She had jet black hair, pale skin, and a smile people said could light up a room. But she was not a star. She was chasing the dream, like so many others. Elizabeth was born in Massachusetts. Her father left when she was a kid, leaving her mother to raise 5 girls on her own. Times were tough. The Great Depression made life harder. Elizabeth grew up dreaming of more. She wanted movies. She wanted the spotlight. Hollywood called to her, the way it did for thousands of young women. By her early 20s, she was in California, moving from city to city. She worked as a waitress sometimes, borrowed money when she needed to, leaned on friends when she had no place to stay. She wanted to act, but the jobs never came. Still, she kept trying. People remembered her as sweet, shy, and always dressed sharp. But Hollywood is not kind. For every star who makes it, there are 1,000 who don't. Elizabeth was one of those 1,000. And in January of 1947, she was more famous in death than she had ever been in life. Detectives came fast. The lot was soon filled with cops, reporters, flashing cameras. What they found was beyond brutal. Elizabeth's body wasn't just dumped. It was cut with skill. Whoever did it had separated her torso from her legs with surgical precision. That's not easy to do. Not clean like that. Her body was washed. No blood at the scene. She had been killed somewhere else, then placed here like some twisted display. Her face was slashed from ear to ear. They call it the Glasgow smile. It made her look like she was grinning, but in the worst way possible. The way her body was posed made it worse. Arms above her head, legs spread. Whoever killed her wanted to shock people. And they did. By afternoon, it was everywhere. The newspapers grabbed it, and soon the whole country was talking. They gave her a name, the Black Dahlia. It came from a movie in theaters at the time, The Blue Dahlia. And because Elizabeth liked to wear black, the nickname stuck. Reporters wrote wild stories, twisting her life to sell papers. Some called her an actress. Some called her a drifter. Some painted her as reckless. But the truth was simpler. She was just a young woman trying to survive. Still, the papers turned her into a symbol. She wasn't Elizabeth anymore. She was the Black Dahlia, and the world couldn't look away. The Los Angeles Police Department threw everything they had at the case. More than 150 suspects were questioned. Detectives knocked on doors, chased tips, and followed every lead. But nothing stuck. Then came the letters. Reporters at the Los Angeles Examiner received an envelope. Inside were Elizabeth's things, her birth certificate, business cards, photos, and an address book. All of it had been scrubbed clean with gasoline to remove fingerprints. And there was a note. Here's Dahlia's belongings. Letter to follow. The handwriting was careful, almost neat. The killer, or someone pretending to be him, was toying with police and press alike. More letters followed, some written in cut-out newspaper letters, like a ransom note. The killer seemed to want attention, just like the newspapers wanted the story. Los Angeles changed overnight. People were scared. Parents warned daughters not to walk alone. Women looked over their shoulders at night. Some thought a serial killer was on the loose. The police were under pressure. The public demanded answers. But the case only grew more tangled. For every lead that looked promising, another dead end came. Confessions started pouring in. Men walked into police stations claiming they killed Elizabeth Short. But each confession fell apart under questioning. Some were liars. Some were sick. None were the killer. Elizabeth Short had dreamed of fame. She found it, but not in the way she wanted. Her murder shocked the city. The papers sold her story. And the killer, he disappeared into the shadows. But this was just the beginning. In the weeks to come, suspects would emerge, some with strained connections, some with dark secrets of their own. And theories would spread from the medical world to the underworld of Hollywood itself. Everyone wanted to know who killed the Black Dahlia and why. After the body was found, the police were buried in suspects. At first, they thought it might be someone Elizabeth knew, a boyfriend, a stranger, maybe a jealous lover. They questioned more than 150 men. Some were actors, some were drifters, some were just men who had crossed paths with her. But none of them fit. Each lead ended the same way. Nothing. The case was messy. For every real suspect, there were 5 false ones. And then the letters kept coming. The killer, or someone pretending to be him, enjoyed the game. He sent taunts, promises, and more hints that went nowhere. The press ate it up. The police grew desperate. It wasn't long before the police faced another problem. People confessing to the crime. Over the years, more than 60 people claimed they killed Elizabeth Short. Some confessions came right after the murder. Men walked into police stations saying, "I did it." But when detectives pushed them, the details fell apart. Others were drunks looking for attention. Some were mentally ill. And some just wanted to be part of the story. The cops wasted days, even weeks, chasing liars. Each false lead pulled resources away from finding the real killer. It was like trying to solve a puzzle where half the pieces were fake. One detail stood out from the crime scene. The way Elizabeth's body was cut in two. It wasn't sloppy. It was clean, precise, almost like surgery. That meant the killer could have had medical knowledge. Maybe even a doctor. The police started looking at local physicians. One name that kept coming up was Dr. George Hodel. He was a wealthy, smart, and strange man who lived in a mansion in Hollywood. People whispered about him even back then. He threw wild parties, knew powerful people, and had a dark side. Years later, even his own son, Steve Hodel, a former LAPD detective, would say he believed his father killed Elizabeth Short. He connected his father to the crime through old photos, handwriting, and even suspicious conversations caught on wiretaps. But in 1947, the police didn't have enough to arrest him. He slipped away, and Dr. Hodel wasn't the only theory. Some believed Elizabeth was killed by someone she had dated. Others thought it was a stranger who picked her up on the streets. One strange theory tied her death to a bigger network of criminals. Some said the cut and posing of her body matched mob-style killings meant to send a message. Others thought it was a copycat crime. Still, no one could prove anything. Every theory had holes. Every suspect had alibis. The killer left no fingerprints, no blood, no clear evidence. He was careful, he was smart, and he knew how to vanish. Because Elizabeth wanted to be an actress, Hollywood became part of the story. Reporters claimed she was seen at clubs, talking producers, chasing roles. Some wrote that she was tied to shady figures in the movie industry. Was her killer someone powerful? Someone the city wanted to protect? Or was Hollywood just an easy backdrop for the papers to sell more copies? The truth is, no one really knew. But the Hollywood angle gave the Black Dahlia case more glamour, more mystery, more reason for the public to stay obsessed. For months, detectives chased the case. They interviewed neighbors, traced letters, dug through Elizabeth's past. They raided hotel rooms, questioned doctors, followed rumors. But the trail kept going cold. Inside the LAPD, frustration grew. The press mocked them for not solving the city's biggest murder. The public lost faith. And slowly, the case files started to gather dust. Still, years after, the LAPD would reopen the Black Dahlia investigation. Each time, they hoped new evidence would break it open. Each time, it ended the same way. No arrest, no trial, no justice. Elizabeth Short's murder wasn't just a crime. It became a mirror of Los Angeles itself. A city of dreams and lies, fame and shadows, hope and fear. The suspects were many, the theories endless, the truth still hidden. But even as the years passed, the Black Dahlia didn't fade away. The case grew larger, darker, and stranger. And with every decade, new voices claimed to know the answer. From police, from writers, even from family members of suspects. But the question stayed the same. Who killed the Black Dahlia? And would we ever know the truth? Most murders fade away with time. People forget. But not this one. Elizabeth Short's death stayed alive, year after year. Reporters kept writing about it. Detectives kept talking about it. Even Hollywood couldn't resist. Why? Because the story had everything. A young woman chasing her dreams. A city built on illusions. A murder so brutal, it shocked the nation. And no ending. The Black Dahlia case became a legend, not just a crime. From the 1950s to today, the case has been retold again and again. Books, movies, TV shows, documentaries. Each one with its own theory, its own suspect, its own twist. In the 1970s, author John Gilmore claimed he knew who did it. In the 1980s, other writers blamed mobsters. Then came Steve Hodel in the 2000s, pointing the finger at his own father. Movies like The Black Dahlia tried to bring the story to the big screen. TV shows like American Horror Story gave it a creepy, fictional spin. Each time, the world watched. Each time, the case grew more famous. The Black Dahlia became more than Elizabeth Short. She became a symbol of Los Angeles itself. A city where beauty and danger walk side by side. Where dreams turn to nightmares. Where fame can make you visible and vulnerable. For many, her story is a warning. About the risks of chasing stardom. About the darkness that can hide beneath bright lights. So, why hasn't this case ever been solved? Part of the reason is time. In 1947, police didn't have the tools we have now. No DNA testing. No advanced forensics. Evidence was often lost or contaminated. Another reason was the chaos of the investigation. The LAPD was under pressure. The media was relentless, and mistakes were made. Some files even went missing. Some evidence may have been destroyed. And then there's the killer himself. Whoever he was careful, smart. He knew how to leave a body that screamed for attention, but no clues to point back to him. For people in Los Angeles, the Black Dahlia case left scars. Parents warned their daughters. Women feared walking home alone. The murder wasn't just a headline. It was a reminder that evil can hide anywhere, even in the city of dreams. And for decades, that fear never really went away. Each new article, each new theory, each new retelling. It was like the killer was still out there, laughing, knowing he got away. Elizabeth Short's real name is almost forgotten now. People don't say it as much as they should. They say the Black Dahlia, a name given by reporters to sell papers. A name that turned her from a woman into a story. But behind the nickname was a real person. A daughter, a friend, a young woman who wanted a better life. And she never got the chance to live it. It's been more than 75 years, and the Black Dahlia murder is still unsolved. Police files remain open. Detectives, old and new, still glance at the case from time to time. But no one has ever been arrested. No one has ever been charged. The truth about who killed Elizabeth Short may never come out. The killer is likely long gone. The evidence too old. But the story lives on. In books, in films, in whispers across Los Angeles. The Black Dahlia murder is no longer just a crime. It is a shadow stretching across generations. A mystery that refuses to die. And maybe that's what keeps us hooked. Not just a horror of what happened, but the haunting question that still lingers. Who killed the Black Dahlia? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more true crime stories every week.